Guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to make this palazzo trouser with a chiffon fabric. Always remember to iron your chiffon before starting. So because I'm working with a patterned fabric, I'm going to be taking my measurement from the end because I have to make sure that the back and the front get the same pattern. Okay, so the thing I'm going to be placing my measurement is actually 43, so the 43 I'll be starting from the end so that I will know where to start with the fabric. So here is going to be my starting line, so just going to mark the starting line. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to be marking our hip line and the crotch line. So how do you get the crotch line? The crotch line for palazzo is your hips divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Okay, hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So note that this style will be having a band. That is why I'm placing my 2 at the starting line. Then 8.5 is for my hips and my crotch is going to be 13.5. Okay, so remember your band, you have to extract your band. That is why I have that 2 inches extracted from the beginning, like I've deducted the 2 inches. Okay, so you have to note that, or else at the end of the day you're going to have too long crotch and too long trousers. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to be marking is our hip line. Now we're going to be dividing the hips by 4, sorry. So I'm going to be having 11.25. Now because the palazzo trousers, I'm going to be adding 11.25 plus 3 inches. If you want it extra large, you make 4, but I think I prefer doing with 3 inches. Then I'm going to add 1 inseam allowance. This same thing I'm going to be marking at the upper part of the fabric. Okay, because it's going to have a rubber band, an elastic band, sorry. We are just going to mark the same thing at the waistline. So that is hips divided by 4 plus 3 plus 1. Okay, so that is what we have now. So the next one we're going to do now, we're going to have our crotch curve. Crotch curve is going to be hips divided by 4, whatever you get, divide by another 4. So I'm having 2.8. Now I'm going to connect it to my hips line. As simple as that. Now that is the length of the dress. The length of the, like I said, is for 3. Now when I get the length of the dress, I'm going to take in away 1.5 because I don't want to be extra large at the end. No, it doesn't really look good except you want it too large, but I don't want it. So I'm moving extra. I'm going to be moving 1.5. Okay. Now I'm going to be notching somewhere in the middle. Choose a place that will be comfortable for you to notch. You just notch. So when you're joining your fabric, it will be easier for you. You won't have one part bending. Now we have cut out the front. Remember to put your seam allowance at the waistline when cutting out the front. Now I've cut out the front, so I'm just going to place it to cut out the back. Now because like I said, it's a pattern fabric, you can see I'm trying to place it exactly where the pattern of the front is, and the back, the patterns have to align. So that is why I'm placing it exactly where it has to align. Okay, now just come to the upper part of the waist. I'm just going to be adding 2 inches. Now remember that I'm putting my measurement away from the ½ inch seam allowance. Okay, so just add 2 inches. And coming to the crotch side, I added 1.5. Okay, the crotch area I added 1.5, the upper part I added 2 inches, and I'm just going to join to the somewhere around the upper thigh. It's very easy then. So we'll connect it straight down. Okay, then we'll come here, we'll come to the upper part. We'll also connect the 2 inches to the end. That 2 inches we created for the upper part, we'll also connect it. Okay, make sure you're connecting it slope. It has to be on a slant waist so it touch the other side. Okay, slanted, make sure it's meeting the end of the other side. Then we just connect our curve. Okay, very simple. To the connecting it to the 2 inches. Then remember to add your ½ inch seam allowance for the back, just like the way we have the ½ inch for the front. Also remember to add your ½ inch at the back, okay? That is it. You just cut it, as simple as ABCD. Then you just also make sure you have your notch, just like the way I had my notch at the front. Also have a notch somewhere at the back. So let's do the pocket. You just fold by 13 inches by 9, I guess. That's what it is, 13 inches depth and just 9 inches wide on a fold. Then we'll take this straight and we'll go to join it to the trousers. Remember that it's going to be on a fold. Okay, so now I'm having two pockets for the left and for the right side. So we're going to be joining to the trousers. All you need to do, you place it by this to the side of the trousers, the front trousers. Now at the front, just go in by 1.5. Just going by 1.5. Then you come down, you go down as much as 7. You can do 6, you can do 7, however you want. So I'm going to come down as much as 7. So I will now come in there by ½ inch. That is where the sewing allowance is. Okay, you come in by ½ inch there. So what you do, you place your front. Now also note where your 1.5 is, note where your 7 inches is, and mark the ½ inch also. So we'll now go to the machine. We're going to be sewing from that ½ inch to the point of the 7 to the top. Okay, it's going to be a slope line. So you do this also for the other side of the front. So now that we've done it, we have asked you just join it to the back, and that is it. Remember to lock the up of your waist and iron it properly. Now we're going to be taking the measurements for the back. Now I have 57. Okay, I'm not going to cut a long fabric by 2.5 inches. Remember the band is 2 inches, so I'm cutting 2.5. That half is a seam allowance on a fold. Okay, so what we're going to do now, you iron it properly and we'll come to join it at the end. Now for those that want to add rope to their waistline, I'm going to make this explanation. Now from the waist where you iron, you come down by 1. After 1, you come down by ½ inch. Okay, so we're going to be sewing from that 1 inch from the iron part to that, then we will leave that ½ inch and sew the other part also. Okay, so you do the same thing for the upper side. 1 inch, you leave ½ inch or ¼ inch depending on what you want to do, then you sew to the point of your seam allowance. So you can see there is a hole there. That is where you're going to pass your rope in. Okay, now you're going to, if you want the rope at the front, if you want it at the back, it's now left for you. So what we'll now do is you now sew the side, leaving 2 inches where you're going to pass your elastic. Okay, now I'm going to be placing this band to the waist. So it depends on where you want your hole to be. If you want it at the front, if you want it at the back, it's your choice. So now I'm going to be passing my rubber. Now the elastic I'm using is the waist, which is 58 divided by 2. Then whatever I get, I'm going to be taking away 2 inches from it. Your total waist for these trousers divided by 2. Now I am working with a 1 inch band. Okay, you can see that's 58 divided by 2 minus 2. So that is how I got my 26. Now this 26, now I'm going to be cutting 2 of it, like 2 of it, because it's a 1 inch band and our waist 1 inch elastic and our waist is 2 inches. So we're now going to use a zigzag stitch to join it together. Then join it properly with a zig, then make sure you stretch it out that it's not cutting. Now before you join the elastic, make sure you mark somewhere to identify that that is your front, because after passing the elastic you might end up misjoining it and you have it twisted and it's going to be a lot of problem and you have to end up losing the trousers, the band, and starting over again. Okay, so now I've passed the band, I've joined it and I've passed it. So you have to keep making sure it's it's how am I going to explain? You have to make sure it is smooth inwards, like no bending, no curving, no twisting. So any point to make it easier for you when you are trying to align it, make sure you twist it, you pin it at least 4 places. So once you get to a point like the crotch, the pocket, once you see that the 2 inches elastic has opened properly, you pin it. So you do that for all till the elastic is laid flat inside the band. Okay. So you have to be very patient. It takes a lot of patience to get to it. So you have to be patient, because once you're able to get it, you won't have to lose it. But if you don't get it, you will end up losing that, and it's going to be another work all over again, like starting all over again. Okay. So you just pin it and make sure it's properly aligned. So after doing this, the next thing we're going to do now is to go to our machine and sew it. Now, before you sew it, make sure you are stretching it out. Like, you have to sew 2 steps where that hole is. You have to sew, you see that 1/2 inch where that hole is, you're going to sew up and down. So when you are going to be joining this, you make sure you stretch it out properly. Like, stretch it properly. While joining it on the machine, you have to keep pulling. If you don't do that, the waist will become smaller and it will shrink. So you have to pull it properly. This is so that by the time you can see the elastic is there and it can fit this person. Okay. So the same thing for the back. So that is just it, guys. So all you need to do is try it out. Very easy. Very, very easy. So guys, see you in another of my tutorial. Okay. Bye.